Hi, I'm Tony French with Auto Industry Insights, and I'm here today with Pat Ryan, CEO and co-founder of Incisive Technologies, maker of First Look Solutions and the new Max advertising and marketing systems. Pat, before the break, we talked about applying the secrets of Google's success to the dealership. Let's get to the question that caused such a heated debate at the last Digital Dealer Conference. Pat, from your perspective, does the internet mean the end of strong grosses and have all the vehicles just become commodities?
This is a question every retailer faces, but in other industries, retailers really understand they have high-margin products and low-margin products. Historically, especially on the pre-owned side, dealers haven't thought that way. It's let's make $2,000 on the front end on every car. That's the way we should run our business. Anything below that is not successful. But the truth is that we're no different than any other retail industry. There are high-margin products and low-margin products, and you have to think about that and understand that to be able to meet your customer and where they are. So what makes a high-margin product? Fact is, it's about something that's popular, a lot of demand, consumers want it, and the amount of demand is greater than the supply, right? There's only so much available. So a great example of that happened at the end of Cash for Clunkers. We'd had a slow 2009, and after Cash for Clunkers, there was still a lot of demand for new cars at the end of it. There were down to 15 days of supply of Toyotas on new lots. And with only 15 days supply, all those Toyotas were selling at or around sticker, a price they were not getting all year long. But as soon as the supply got low and the demand got high, that's what happens. And so that's really the thing you have to understand is, how popular is it? What's that demand like? And how much is it available? What's that supply? And that allows you to answer the question, do I have a high-margin product or a low-margin product, and something that has a lot of demand that will turn quickly as well?
Pat, isn't this really just a choice between gross or turn? You can't have both.
That's an important question. Let's take the most famous example of a fast-turning retailer. Everybody talks about CarMax as being somebody who knows how to turn inventory with or better than anybody but the best of them. And so the fact is, if you look at CarMax and you look at their history and their success and what they do, it's interesting. They turn fast, but their average gross profit is actually higher historically than NADA's average gross profit. So how? How do they do that? Well, they understand what those high and low margin vehicles are. So when they have that popular car with short supply, especially with low mileage per year, that's a big thing that they understand, that consumers really value that. They earn great profits. But if it's a rental car they bought at the auction used to be a rental car, a lot of supply, not quite as much demand, they see that as a low-margin car, and so what they do is they recognize that right up front. They price it for, say, an $800 gross and still turn it quickly. So that's really the story of how CarMax does it, and really we can learn a lot from that. But this is more than theory or just the best practice of a CarMax. There's hard evidence about this question of whether these are commodities or not and whether you can earn a strong gross. And I want to cite a national sample that we did over the last 3 months of cars that had high volume. So these aren't just corner cases, things on the edges, around the fringes. So nationally, the last 3 months, 07 Corvettes have earned front-end gross profits of over $3,000 on average. There's dozens of cars, including 05 Ram 1500s, 08 Luzernes, 2008 Yukons and Tahoes, all who have been earning consistently across the country over $2,000 on the front end. And there are dozens more like that. Of course, the list is full of Highline. But the fact is, it's abundant amount of cars that are selling at strong gross profits, even with high wholesale prices and even with the so-called commoditization of the internet. So the evidence is clear across the country. There are lots of high-margin products on the pre-owned side. And now, interestingly, strong gross profit cars typically have faster turns than low gross profit cars. Solid gross profit cars tend to have faster turns than low gross profit cars. Why? Because profit is about demand. There's interest. Consumers want to buy something. That makes you sell them faster and it makes you sell them more profitably. Now, you strike a balance between those, but it's not an either or. You have weak turns and strong profits or weak profits and strong turns. You can have solid and strong both, and that's really what we have to understand. On the other hand, there are low-profit cars. The example, in this last 3 months, 07 Audi A4 sedans, $584 average front-end gross across the country. 07 Explorers, $861 front-end gross. 05 Nissan Muranos, $928 front-end gross. Now, these cars can turn quickly. They often don't. Why? Because dealers don't understand their low margin, and so because of that, They aren't pricing them to move. If you know you're going to make $600, price it there up front and get that turn. Bottom line is we need to know what our high turn and high profit potential vehicles are and make the most of that combination and know what the ones that don't have the profit potential and make sure they turn quickly as well. The bottom line is if anybody's trying to convince you you can't earn a solid profit because of the internet, they don't understand the internet and they're costing you money.
That's an important point. You know, I see a lot of dealers actually falling into that trap. So after the break, I want you to share some of the most effective techniques for dealers to turn their inventory fast with high gross profits.
Look forward to it, Tony.